Have you ever seen a vehicle and wondered what year, make, or model it was, how much horsepower it had, or the history behind that vehicle? If so, then this podcast is for you. All right, so what is DashTag?
DashTag is a social media platform for your vehicles. Vehicles being planes, boats, cars, motorcycles, really anything with a motor.
Yeah, and what makes it unique is that on this social media platform, we have QR codes that are attached to those vehicles. So you've probably seen this out at other car shows. If you see a little QR code on the front of the vehicle on their windshield, someone can scan that, pull up all the history of the vehicle, right? And if you're an owner of a vehicle who doesn't want to show any of that, it's hidden, essentially, right? So you can still use the platform to join communities, find events, but you're relatively anonymous, right?
Right, yeah, so privacy is definitely a concern of ours that a lot of our members have told us about. You know, some people have, very unique collections that are, something they don't want to, something they maybe don't want to tell people that they own. But they still want to kind of talk about their vehicle and show it off and allow users of DashTag to kind of appreciate what it is. So, they can show off their vehicle, they can tell the history of it, but maybe the owner of it is anonymous.
Right. And that kind of leads into why it exists. And so if you've ever walked through a Cars and Coffee and tried to flag down an owner and be like, hey, what's in this thing? That's probably the 6th time that day he's told somebody what motor it is, the history behind it, right? And so now you can just walk up to a car, scan that QR code, and see the videos from the owner talking about it, see the photos behind it, see all the specs without having to hunt down the owner. And if you have that social anxiety or you're just trying to get that information without talking to anybody, it kind of allows you to discover the vehicle without feeling vulnerable, right? Or having a conversation with somebody or tracking someone down.
Yeah, definitely I fall into that social anxiety kind of part of it where, I've had cars and bikes that get a lot of attention. I don't personally like getting a lot of attention. And so that would have been perfect for me. It still is perfect for me. I can tell as much as I want to tell about the story via DashTag. And just like you said, people can come up and like, what is that? I can say, hey, go scan it, right? And it'll tell you a better story than I can tell you right now because I've essentially curated this experience, this history, this story of whatever vehicle that you can then learn about then or learn about later when you go back home or whatever it might be.
Yeah, and then the second part of that is preserving the history, right? So it all started with a 1929 Ford Model A that we had found in a barn, and there was this great history to it, but it was all word of mouth, right? And so that gets lost. And so if you buy that vehicle, let's say 20 years from now, that story dies with either the owner or the person who was told that story. It's not always guaranteed that you find that out. So think of DashTag kind of like VinWiki for classic vehicles, right? That's kind of how it started. It's much bigger than that now over the last couple of years that we've been building it. But that was really the history behind it, was how do we preserve that story, right? Yeah. So we don't lose. I mean, you can't just get into a car from the 20s and start it. Like that's not how cars
I would
work,
have no idea how.
Right? And so we're losing that generation of people who can pass that information along, and DashTag was that catalyst to keep it going.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me this story about how you went to an estate sale, I believe it was, and there was a vehicle that was under a tarp, and I think the granddaughter of the father of the guy who had unfortunately passed away, she was like, I think it's this, but I don't really know.
Yeah.
And it'd been really awesome for her to be like, but he had a DashTag. Right?
Yeah, I mean, think about in her situation, it's kind of sad, but how cool it would have been to go through and see Dad's videos or audio files or even his handwritten notes on the car. It really creates that history and brings it to life for the owner. So even if you're not selling the car, like if you're just the son or daughter of someone who's inheriting the car from granddad, you could scan that and see the notes where he tells you like, hey, I replaced this window motor, or the car doesn't like to run when it's cold, make sure you warm it up. Those little things that you lose once that person passes away.
Yeah. And another, I think, big kind of benefit of DashTag from a collective or collectors or just a history kind of place is like we allow you to not only take pictures and upload videos and link your YouTube or whatever, right? You can scan, with the app, all the documents about it. So if you have a box full of stuff that this was this vehicle had because it was built forever ago and they didn't have the internet, right? Now DashTag can essentially modernize that and digitize that, where it becomes even easier to share the story, where previously you're not going to hand somebody a box of documents. Say, here's what the car is about, right? You're going to say, go to DashTag.
Yeah, and that's a good point. So like I shipped a car to Germany and I'm literally like stuffing all these parts and all the invoices, and I'm handwriting a note to this guy who probably doesn't speak English on like how to start this car, right? And how cool would that have been if it just had the DashTag icon? He could have just scanned it, saw everything. Of course, those videos can be translated in a different language, right? And you're not worried about that box staying in the car, going on a shipping container, on a shipping boat, gets to Germany. What's going to happen? Like, it is a gamble. Right?
Yeah, I mean, what happens if you lose the box, right? Or it gets wet, or anything that could happen where you have. I mean, it's 2026, right? Things being digital just makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you would lose 100 years of value to that car.
That's crazy.
Right?
That is 100 years.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, 2026. It
Yeah.
was in 1929. So
Yeah,
almost 100 years of history would have been gone, if that box didn't make it, or
So-
those parts didn't make it.
So say hypothetically, like you had DashTag back then,
Yeah.
right? Prior to sending out the car to Germany and
Yeah.
all of the, how would DashTag have helped you then? How does it work?
Yeah, so immediately it would have been like a walk around. So the car was sold on an auction, and it did have the walk around, saw me firing it up, make sure it ran, saw me driving it. But I feel like there's really no good way. You could do a clunky Dropbox, you could do a Google Drive link, but there's really no good way to just talk to an enthusiast and really kind of immerse yourself in that vehicle. So, on his end, I could have created a walkthrough that he could have watched when the vehicle came. And there's just so much information that really gets lost, even just having to put something into a 30-second video. Right. So he could have had all that. I could have connected the person I bought it from and him, right? And because that's the whole thing on DashTag, you can transfer a car, right? So if they transferred to me, I transferred to them, they would have seen that history. They could have actually reached out to previous owners and said, hey, what issues have you had? Did you ever replace this? So on and so forth.
Yeah,
right?
and imagine DashTag existed back then, and you had a community of users that all had the same kind of type car, model, manufacturer, make, whatever it might be, right? Or okay, you received this car, or you bought it, whatever it might be, and you don't know how to do something. Before, trying to find the 10 people in the world that might still own that car or know how it runs. Now you have a place you can actually go and ask the questions and get the information you previously couldn't get.
And I think on kind of more of an emotional standpoint, like, we've driven cool cars. We've done Automobile Rally, we've done Slush, we've participated. You and I are both race car guys. You race motorcycles, I haven't raced cars, but we've both been on Bandamere, we've both been at High Plains. Yeah. What that means is we usually have really cool photos done by professional photographers at some point. If you've ever done a track day, you probably have a really cool photo of your car.
Yep.
And like we just sold the Mini Cooper.
Any idea where that photo's at?
Right. That's one thing. Is first I got to dig through Google, right? But even getting that to stay with the car. So like when I sold the Mini Cooper to Ray, how cool would that have been for him to go back and go through and say, like, look at these professional, even though it's not me in the car.
Sure.
Look at these really well done professional photos.
Well, to be fair, it's probably better without you in the car.
For sure. Luckily, I think I was wearing a hat and you couldn't see me because it was raining. So I think that's fine. But I mean, how cool would that be?
Yeah,
right?
amazing.
Like, to have, let's say, because you're potentially buying a really nice, pretty cool car here shortly.
Yes.
How cool would that be to have maybe a professional photo that was already done by the previous owner, but have it framed, right? You just have access to that. All that gets lost, or even 5 owners from now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that kind of goes into the next question, how DashTag works.
Yeah, DashTag works, it's magic.
It is.
It kind of is. But it's an app, right? It's both available on iPhones, available on Android. There's a website for it. And essentially it is, to kind of think of it simply, it's like opening up a social media app that you're used to, right? You have your feeds, you have all your things you kind of get from your social media fix, but then we kind of dive deeper, right? You have your garage, put all your vehicles in it, again, whether it's a plane, bike, car, or boat, all the history, and it's really kind of simple to use system that the more you dive into it, the more you find out you can do.
Yeah.
Whether it's from cataloging, whether it's from a social perspective, whether it's from, logging, lap times, whether it's, logging vehicle maintenance, et cetera, right? Like, it really is a one-stop shop for anything to do with your vehicle.
Yeah, that et cetera that you just said, that is such a big thing.
Yes.
Like you have touched on 1% of the platform,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that what it boils down to is the platform is built by, like I just said, enthusiasts. You and I. Yep. We've been trackside, we've been at car events. You're passionate about bikes and cars. I'm passionate about cars. We have people on the platform who are passionate about airplanes. So the community, or I should say the platform itself, is really built by the community. Like that's the authentic side to it. So no matter what the feature is, like you can find an event and it's going to be probably posted by a user. It's probably an event you're going to want to go to. Right. It's not some crappy car show that you really don't want to be a part of. Like this is really an authentic platform for people who are enthusiasts. And with that comes kind of a higher level of you're going to be able to dive in and find people who share similar interests. You're going to find events that you can attend. It's just whatever you're looking for, you can find on the platform.
Yeah,
truthfully.
Yeah, and everything that's been built on the platform has been built essentially as a request from someone in our circle, right? In the enthusiast circle, whether they're in Colorado or they're in Australia or in Germany, whatever, right?
And for people who don't know you, when a request comes in, that's a sleepless night for you.
Generally,
like you don't be like, okay, I'll get to that like Tuesday.
Yeah, for those that are tech oriented, you know what a backlog is. It's people come to us with good ideas, and I think because we are users of the platform, just the level of excitement to build it is. It's immediate. Like, okay, that's a great idea. Let's do it. Like, again, we're users of the platform. Not only are the ones that created it, but like, I go on DashTag daily, right? I look at the marketplace. I look at what people are doing for what my friend did in their car, what picture was sent to the event. Like, it's a platform that I enjoy using. Like, I don't use Facebook. I don't use Instagram, other than what my wife tags me in. I have to go in there, hit approve, because that's what you do as a husband. The platform that I use is DashTag because. Rather than kind of going through Instagram to find pictures of cars, like I just go to the platform that has just cars.
Right. Yeah, I feel like there's less noise, right? You can find other people without sorting through food photos and travel photos, right?
Yes.
And typically, like you nailed it. Instagram, Facebook, a lot of that gets diluted. And so you'll have all these car platforms and their small communities. It just seems like we kind of get washed out in the noise. Yeah. Right.
Well, I think that's the point too. That's what Meta is this giant net intentionally, right? Like Meta and TikTok and all these competitors of ours, like their goal is to get all 9 billion people on their platform. It'd be dope if we had 9 billion people on DashTag, but if they all cared.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. They'd have to all be Subaru drivers. And then I'd be off.
Yes.
I'd delete the app.
Yeah, so Matt loves Subarus. No matter what you hear in the next future episodes and in real life, Matt is actually a closet Subaru fan.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love passing them on the side of the road when I'm driving something that is not a Subaru.
Yes.
It's a good segue to who we are, though, maybe.
Yeah. So I do not have a bias against Subarus.
There's got to be something you hate, though. Like motorcycle brand, there has to be something you hate.
I think so. I'm big into motorcycles. I've always kind of been into motorcycles. The freedom you get from it. I've driven very fast cars. I've driven what some would claim at that moment it was the best car on the road, and it's fun, right? It's safe. It's exhilarating. But when I get on a motorcycle, whether I'm going 20 miles an hour or 200. There's just nothing quite like it. And kind of what I don't like about motorcycles is you have your different cliques of people, right?
Sure.
You have your people that ride motorcycles because they respect the adrenaline, they respect the freedom, they respect the fact that they're on a bike. And then people that buy a bike because they can afford a bike.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
And I think that's a very differentiating group. That's not the right term, but I ride a daily, so to speak, in H2. It's turned up to about 300 horsepower. It is as fast as you could possibly want to go.
In a daily.
In a daily, right? Yeah. I've just been riding bikes for how old am I? 20 years.
I like how you deflected. You did the most politician answer of all time. You still have not told me a brand you don't like.
A brand in motorcycles?
Yeah. Or a car, or a plane, anything.
I'm from Milwaukee, and I grew up around Harley.
Okay.
and I've grew up around the bars that Harley riders frequent. And not that I don't like Harley. I can't really say this unpolitically. Like Harley owners, if you are within that particular stigma and you live that stereotype, I do not like your type of people.
Okay.
But if you ride a Harley because you appreciate what it can do and it's an amazing machine, I have no hate towards you.
Okay. I'm glad I put you on the spot. This
is great. And you, other than
Subarus is probably, I don't understand the hype. Like I've driven them, they don't seem reliable. There's always a blue one in the fast lane not going fast. If you live in Colorado, you know what I mean? Like Subarus are the problem. And I think, like you said, it's almost like the meta of cars. They cast such a wide net, right? They're like, we also have this STI for like enthusiasts.
Yeah.
But for the most part, most people don't drive that.
Yeah.
They drive the most awful thing that they think they can go off-road in.
Yeah.
But, or any of the toaster vehicles, which are the small boxy SUVs that all have tiny little turbocharged engines that also are driven by people who think
like the old Scions or whatever.
Oh no. I'm talking like there's always a mini version of something now. So like Bronco Sport.
Oh,
right.
I see.
Right. I'm not saying all of them.
Okay.
But there's quite a few of them also driving in the fast lane.
Sure.
Very slow.
I actually saw this video the other day with a Colorado State Trooper who was going out and pulling people over for not going the speed limit in the fast lane.
That guy should be awarded.
Yeah.
We should have him on the podcast.
We should. I should probably find him.
We should find him.
And one of the comments in the thing was, so what about the guy that's going 10 over? Like, are you going to go after him? And his response was, you're not the police. It's like, let me police a car going fast. You obey your law,
right?
And you get over. You're not supposed to be coasting the fast lane, whether you're going speed limit or not.
Yeah,
you're not. Get over.
Yeah, and the guy who's going 10 over is a BMW that's not an M, but does have an M package.
Yes,
which is somebody sitting right here, right now. I'm not going to say who. So who we are? Yeah, right. So my background's always been automotive, mostly land speed racing. So Texas Mile, Bonneville, Salt Flats. I've always liked old school hot rods. That's always been my thing. I grew up in that culture. And so that's where the history to DashTag really mattered to me. That was close to my heart. But I do marketing here at DashTag. And so you are looking at the entire company.
Yep.
Right here. So if you have a problem, put it in the comments, reach out to us. Reach out to us on DashTag. We'll answer back.
This video will actually be posted both in YouTube, obviously, because probably where you're watching it right now, but also on DashTag. So DashTag has essentially first-class support for YouTube videos. So if you have existing video that you don't want to like download and re-upload, you can just point to YouTube. So whether you're watching this on DashTag, via some sort of iframe or whatever, or on YouTube itself, feel free to comment, tag us. We're more than happy to help, more than happy to build, like we said earlier, right? It's a platform that we want to use. The platform that, my son, he's 2 years old, and he's big into cars, big into motorcycles, and I have every intention of, maintaining a record of everything I've ever driven and every record I've ever tried to break. And, for him to go to when he's old enough to go to school and say, my dad has this on his DashTag, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to build something that will last generations because it should have been built generations ago.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of history and information, and this really keeps the community tied together. So one thing that I've also noticed growing up in the hot rod world, going to a lot of car shows, I remember the day when you were not allowed to touch cars, right? Like you would go to a car show, you can look, but please don't touch, don't lean over it. And so what that's done is that's killed hot rod culture.
Yeah.
Because now the young generation don't really care about hot rods because the exotic guys are like, get in it, rev it, jump in it.
I'm guilty.
Right? And so that needs to change, right? And so what I really want to see the platform do is bridge that gap again to where the kids who do like McLarens, and Ferraris, they obviously have the car passion. They just don't know about the old stuff or why that makes, what about it makes it cool, why they're cool.
Yeah.
And so I think DashTag does that. It ties that together. It makes it front and center to where they can understand the passion.
Yeah, and I think the more DashTag grows and the more people see that their story can be heard, right? Because having another place just to put pictures of your vehicle and tell the story, cool, unless it's easy to kind of ingest, right? And that's kind of the whole point of the DashTag, the QR code, right? It's like how much simpler can you get than walking up to something, scanning it, and getting everything you need to know, right? if you want to share because you're just bored on a Saturday night and you want to go to your garage and post a video and talk about it, like someone's going to watch, and we really hope that you guys do.
Yeah. So then our call to action, how you guys can support us, what to expect from the podcast over the years that we plan to do this. So we are going to have different people from DashTag on to talk about their cars. So you'll see
boats or
planes
or bikes,
maybe not Harley guys or Subaru people. We've decided on that. But you'll see QR codes on the bottom of the screen. So anytime during a video, if you hear somebody talking about their car, you can scan that and it'll take you to DashTag to learn more about that car. So, and we're not doing this necessarily like the best cars on the platform. We're just wanting to grab people to come and tell their story. So we've already put together a list of some of our first users that we're going to reach out to, and you might be one. And drop us a note in the comments if you want to come on the show and talk about your car. We'd love to have you. So. The best things you can do for right now, if you see a QR code on a vehicle at a show, mostly in Colorado right now, but there are cars throughout the United States that have come and done Colorado events that have probably went back to your hometown. Just scan it, see how it works, right? Get it on your phone. If you're an Android user, you can download it now. It is on the Android Play Store. Apple is close.
Apple, as of a few days ago, so Apple, some may know, is very, love them to death. Every product I have is an Apple product. They're very strict on what gets approved into the App Store. And because we do offer so much variability, we do allow users to, generate their own content. We do allow, all the social stuff. Apple, in a way, unknowingly in a way, but in a good way, has been very strict as far as their requirements of getting the app into the App Store. And, a couple days ago, they finally approved it. And so if you are in DashTag already, or you want to help us kind of beta test it, we can send you a link. You can download it and use it, and then kind of once we get through a little more user testing, we'll open it up to the world.
If you're on the platform currently and you're signed up, you're one of the early adopters. We now are able to supply QR codes for your entire garage and get those mailed to you. So you can go to
it's store.thedashtag.com. Eventually we'll have all of our swag on there. We'll have more things, but for now it's literally you log in. It gives you a vehicle selector. You pick your vehicle, and then we'll mail you a DashTag.
And then create and break, right? So this kind of is a great opportunity for us to tell you guys about what's on the platform. Once you get logged in, add all of your cars from your garage. You can start tracking your maintenance from there. You can scan documents, upload, get your photos put on there. Start taking photos and putting on there. Even if you don't move your stuff from Instagram, just start using it. That will help us. Create events, even small cruises. So DashTag puts together events throughout the year. Last year we did a fall cruise. It was just one day. It was in the morning. It was probably truthfully one of the best rallies I did last year.
It was
so much fun.
It was nice until I got rained on. But it was good,
In the bike.
On the bike.
So you can, if you just want to get your buddies together and do a Friday night cruise, create it as an event. Invite people, get them on the platform. That helps us. Check out other events that are on the platform. Create your communities. That's probably one of the biggest things they can do.
If you're already, you're on Facebook or you're on Instagram, maybe not Instagram, but if you're on Facebook, I think is probably the predominant target of what I'm about to say. Is you obviously have groups, you have pages. Go create a community on DashTag. It can be the exact same name, assuming you get there first, right? It is a kind of a unique URL, just like Facebook is. Get your stuff posted. And start posting events. And there's a lot of cool things on there. Like we have this really cool function or feature where if you're on a rally, if everybody opts into sharing their location, you can kind of see it on the map as they go, right? And so like, who is that car in front of me? Who's a really awesome Subaru. He's only spewing a little bit of oil, right?
He's right behind the Harley Davidson. Those guys are fun.
Click that person's little pin, and you can see what they're driving and who they are, and send them a message or add them as a friend or follow them or whatever it might be, right? And in order to really kind of grow DashTag and grow your communities and really make sure that the people that you care about are in your group or in your community, right? Again, we're a platform for vehicle enthusiasts, right? And so if you want vehicle enthusiasts to kind of be within your ecosystem, DashTag is the place to do it.
And then we have, of course, some gamified features, right? So we create badges for events, and so when you go to scan a QR code, you can actually see if they, won Best Ferrari at a car show last year, right? And so go in, create badges for those communities. You can issue those badges to the users in your community, and it just helps, right? Kind of show off that passion.
And we've a lot of Easter eggs that you can find on the platform. It's a system that I want to use,
Yeah.
that we want to use, right? And getting, I mean, dopamine is kind of how we are all kind of, we work now off dopamine, right? And I think rather than doom scrolling through Instagram and seeing pictures of food and cats, scroll through, DashTag and find pictures of Subarus and Harleys, and then block that user. But no, don't actually do that. But you could. We do have privacy. You could block, but I'm not. Yeah. We joke. Him not so much. He really hates Subarus. Thank you for watching. I'm a super anxious person. I'm actually really uncomfortable in front of camera. This is now my third time being in front of a camera for DashTag.
You did great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the next couple years of us doing this, I get better at this and I'm not fidgeting. But I appreciate you guys being here at the beginning of this, and I'm really looking forward to building a platform that you guys want to use and you want to share.
Yeah, we're excited to have you guys. I think a big thing for us is we understand car apps suck. Like, we've downloaded all of them. We understand, like, they all have problems. It's not even just the bugs. Like, it's just whether it's not getting people on the platform, whether it's the features just don't really represent or they don't work well. We don't want to go that same route with DashTag.
Right.
So much so, like, we want that feedback. We welcome it.
Yeah. Break it.
Right. Please, absolutely. This is a passion project for us, and we want it to represent the passion first and foremost. Because if it doesn't feel true, and then nobody uses it, and it dies like all the others, and we don't want to see that. So, please help us figure this out. And we know how great the car community is. If you've ever been at a racetrack and broke down, everybody comes around you to see what they can do to help. Yep. Right. So we know those people.
Or if you run out of fuel on a rally and someone pulls over in front of you,
which is how we met.
Yeah. A different story for a different podcast,
for sure.
probably.
For sure. Yeah, so thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate it. We look forward to your feedback and for checking out the next podcast.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, cheers.